Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Scottish Football Podcast. Ahead of the new season, we're going through each and every Premiership club and asking what their fans can expect from the season ahead. This episode, we're focusing on the team that stayed up just via the playoffs, St Mirren.
Chance to shift it to his right, and it's in! It's another for St Mirren, and it's another for Ayuka! And a quite incredible afternoon this is turning out to be. Drop the bar and in! It's gone in! And St Mirren have the goal! Marcus Fraser in the back post!
I'm delighted for the players and for the fans, for the club in general. The remit when I took over the role was to stay in the league. We'd have liked to avoid this type of situation, but we've managed to do that.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
So it's the 8th of July as we record this, and the teams are back in pre-season and everyone's thoughts are turning to the season ahead. And it's All Saints Day for us, All St Mirren that is. Joining me to discuss what lies ahead, the pitfalls and the pleasures, David MacDonald, Supremo of Pie and Bovril, and Ryan Flynniesta Flynn, former St Mirren midfielder. About 2 years now since you left the Buddies, Ryan?
Yep, I've had 2 seasons at Arbroath since I've left St Mirren, so yeah.
Yeah, and Dev, let's think. I'm just thinking back, a quick summary of last season. It was in many ways the best of times, and darn it all, nearly the worst of times. The League Cup winners, triumphal, and then just surviving a playoff at the end against Partick Thistle.
Yeah, even by our standards, it had a bit of everything last season. Obviously, the League Cup was something we'll never forget, but the league form was abysmal pretty much almost from the get-go. Scottish Cup run was also pretty memorable, to be fair as well. So we had ties, and it finished all right on the night. We just got over the line against Thistle, and I suppose at the end of the day, it'll still go down as a very good season because obviously the cup win for teams like us is not something you ever take for granted.
Ryan, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking it was almost like St Mirren weren't flying too close to the sun. They planted a black and white flag on it, and it melted their wings. In the League Cup, Kilmarnock, Hearts, Motherwell, Celtic all vanquished in a memorable finale in December. But then, did that take a toll on the league form and see them almost crashing right down into the Championship?
I think that's probably the only way you could look at it. I mean, I just think you've just got to celebrate that cup win. It's probably been a long time coming, a whole build-up of seasons and progression for the club. It definitely was that taking off, reaching the summit, and then a complete nosedive after that. But luckily, the boys there pulled together and got over that line that makes it a memorable season, because you can't be legends and then get relegated in the same season. It would have really tarnished that. So thankfully, that wasn't the case for the boys.
And Stephen Robinson departed as well. Div, how are you looking back on his tenure now? Club legend still?
Yeah, I think he's still go down as a club legend for sure. What he did with the club was unbelievable over his time at St Mirren. 3 top 6 finishes for a club of our size was incredible. Taking us into Europe was amazing, and then the cherry on the cake was obviously winning the cup. So although the timing of his departure was definitely not great, and we weren't in good form at that time, he'll still be, for me anyway, still go down as a bona fide club legend, and he'll be thanked for what he did for us. But this is the start of a new era. It feels that way. Everything feels new, and we go into the new season as always. You're always excited at this time, but apprehensive this season perhaps, but excited nonetheless.
Yeah, Ryan, what do you think?
I just think the whole Stephen Robinson thing, obviously talking about the facts of the European football and the top 6 finishes, it was definitely a club on the up, and then the summit was reaching the League Cup final and winning it. But there was a lot behind the scenes that Stephen Robinson did that was fantastic, and it really sets up the club. Like, obviously the form of the players and maybe the squad probably wasn't in a good place when he left, but the club as a whole is in a much better position moving forward. Small things around the club and the changing rooms, the facilities when you turn up back to the academy or the training facilities, just
We've got a recovery room and everything now with the big ice baths, haven't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There is so much change in and around the training ground and the stadium that is in a much better position, and it's just it was key that they stayed up in the end. But Stephen Robinson obviously gets judged on results, and he produced that in abundance. But there was loads of other parts that he did so well, and I felt like he really galvanised, and everyone was really together. And there was so much success off the park as well. It probably come at the right time from. I don't mean for the club, but I think even for himself, that challenge for him to leave and go and maybe plant his roots at another club and try and do what he does. He really it was him and Jim Gillespie that was sort of. It felt like they were doing everything at the club, and it's probably not healthy long term moving forward for a club when those parts move. So I think maybe as the season goes on, it'll be a tough one, it'll be intriguing, it'll be apprehensive, but I think long term, hopefully there won't be as many moving parts because it's been, from top to bottom, it's been a complete overhaul.
A complete overhaul. I suppose the strange thing, Div, was when Stephen Robinson did go, the form was absolutely honking. I think it was like 1 in 13.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as I say, our league form fell off a cliff, and it wasn't great even before the League Cup, to be honest, but it really was very poor. The timing couldn't have been worse for him going to Aberdeen, but again, as Flynn says, you can't, Robbo got the opportunity to go there, and you can't really knock it. At the end of the day, they're a bigger club than us. It was a great opportunity for him, and those opportunities don't come along a lot in football. It's a fickle business, who's to know what would have happened if Robbo had stayed? Would we have stayed up? Would we have went down? Who knows? Craig obviously came in at a really difficult time because of the form, and then we suffered a horrendous run of injuries that nobody could have coped with. We lost both goalkeepers, for example. I mean, there's no way of legislating for that. We then lost Jonah Ayunga for the rest of the season. Liam Donnelly had an injury. Marcus Fraser got injured. We then, went through all of that period. Alex Gogic then got suspended for 2 massive games at the end of the season. Again, nothing to do with Craig. So it was a very difficult situation that he came into. And he got us over the line. And he also tried his best to get us playing a different style of football on top of all of that at the same time. It was a real mismatch at the end. But as I say, we got over the line, and he had us from playing some really good football as well. We got some good results in amongst some bad results. So, yeah, it was an interesting time to be a St Mirren fan last season.
Yeah, it's almost a case of winner stays on, Ryan, isn't it? Because Craig McLeish got that opportunity. Opportunity seldom knocks more than once in football. He took it. As Div saying there, did at the start certainly changed the style of football. It was very entertaining. Got some good results. Beat Aberdeen a couple of times. And then managed to keep St Mirren in the top division. What do you make of his appointment?
I'm actually really looking forward to it. I think we're quite guilty in this country of always wanting a sort of a foreign manager, and he's definitely a manager he's very assertive in how he wants to play. I think he'll be aggressive, front foot, trying to press teams really high up. I think he'll obviously. I think he's been very vocal in the fact that his style of play, what we want to build through the thirds and from the back. I think in this country, when Askew was prime example, when his football went well, he got praised really well for it. I mean, Craig McLeish was really brave when he went to Celtic away and knocked the ball about really comfortably at times. It's just, did he have the squad of players to then implement his full tactics for when it gets to the final third? You look at Motherwell's team, and they obviously had Mazwanisi up front, and I think no matter how well you play, you still need those special players at the top end of the pitch. They adjust and they're Slattery, the guys that can unlock the door. So it's going to be, I think, Craig McLeish, I think he deserves a chance. I think he'll be assertive in exactly what he wants moving forward. I think the big question mark is going to be on Gavin Miller and the recruitment team and how they sign the right players for the club moving forward with this new style of play.
All right, well, I've written down the players that have come in. We've got Samuel Ramos. I love the sound of that name. Might be rotten, but he sounds great. Midfielder Ryan Carr, another midfielder from Ipswich. Chris Mockery come in from Airdrie. Goalkeeper Jacob Chapman in from Huddersfield. So you've got 3 of the 4 there are midfielders. Looks like that's an area he's wanting to change. Bacchus still, I think he's still out injured as the season starts. There's a new contract for Fraser Taylor as well. So it looks kind of midfield heavy at the moment, Ryan. Do your eyes light up at that thought as a former Buddies midfielder yourself?
I probably not so much just yet. I'm obviously looking forward to Fraser Taylor hopefully getting a bit of a chance, even in the European run at the start. He was in and out, and he actually came in the league form just before the League Cup final and done really well, and he's probably found it unfortunate he's not been given more of a chance after that in the league because the league form is poor. So I'm looking forward to him maybe getting more a chance in the first team. I think that's one thing that Craig McLeish has also mentioned about not blocking a pathway for the youth players. But as for the players coming in, I think you have to give them time to bed in, of course. Like you say, Sammy, as they're calling him, the Spanish midfielder. Hopefully he can light up the league a little bit and be one of those unknown factors that really hits the ground running. But I think there's got to be a lot more signings through the door, especially at the top end of the pitch. They're needing ball carriers, width in the attack, and then everybody wants those goal scorers and players that put the ball in the back of the net. On the back of losing players, you've obviously lost Mark O'Hara, a captain, influential character. But Mika Mandron, for me, is a big loss. Not just on the field in the way they play and linking the game, but he's a real character within that dressing room. And I think he could be a major departure. And I think you're going to need the other guys behind that to step up, and Marcus Fraser and Alex Gogic to really carry the can and make sure the culture at the Cubs continues in the right way.
Yeah, Div, St Mirren, the lowest scorers in the Premiership last season, scored 10 fewer goals than Livingston. As Ryan's pointing out there, Mika's Ofsky. And I'm kind of drawing a blank as to who's going to come in. As Ryan's saying, you need Gavin Miller to step up here and bring in somebody that's going to score gets him in, maybe score 10 goals a season.
No, absolutely. It feels like we've been waiting forever for a real, like a Maswarisi type goal scorer at St Mirren. You know, last season, you're right. I think we scored 9 goals at Hampden and only a couple more than that at St Mirren Park over the whole season. So it just shows you how bad our goal scoring was. You know, Mika's, Flynn is right, Mika's a huge loss. And there's big losses, and Shamal was a big loss. Michael Freckleton, has gone to Lask, a great move for him, but another big loss. We've lost the skipper and Jacob Devaney in the middle of the park as well. 2 of our better players in there. So we've lost some big names. I think only 5 of the team that won the Cup final are going to be fit to play or available or still at the club from week 1. So, yeah, it's a big summer change. But Gavin Miller's obviously, Motherwell are a bit of a blueprint in terms of how they've traded over the last couple of seasons. It's been unbelievable how they've traded in the market, and Gavin was obviously part of that. So, as the fans, we were kind of sitting back hoping that, Sammy Ramos and players like that coming from left field, there's a wee bit more of that because it's exciting. People like a Spanish midfielder they've never heard of coming in. The hope is We have one. We've had a few hit and miss foreigners, but it's exciting. And I like the signing of Chris Mockery. I think you look at Josh McPake, Calvin Miller, players who have been at big clubs who have gone down the way and then rebuilt their career and come back. And I see Chris Mockery at 23, he's played 200 games or something silly like that. I like that. And I think we've got Dylan Reid on trial at the moment, who left St Mirren very young, and Flynn will know he was a right talent. He's been away at Palace for 3 years now on trial. Craig will probably know him, or he will know him. And then we've got Stevie Mallon back training with us. So there's two young boys who have left us very well, done well with their careers, who are now back, and maybe they'll come in, bulk up the squad as well, because they're two very good players, and as Flynn says, we've got a really good academy, and we've maybe not been brave enough with those boys over the last few years. That's the only maybe criticism a wee bit you'd have, that Robbo was very, very tentative to throw them in. He'd throw them in for a game here, a game there, but we've never really had a run of games for some of the academy boys, and I think there's some real talent there, and hopefully they can come in and flourish.
Now, Ryan, you're playing again for Arbroath this season. Congratulations. Another season at least from you there. But St Mirren played Arbroath in a pre-season. I'm not sure if you were there. Were you away on your holidays? You missed it?
What was there
was a couple of... Dylan Reid played in that one, and Micah Hamilton, who is a Middlesbrough winger, he played as a trialist. Have you spoken to the boys? The Arbroath boys, have they said anything about that game?
I think the less said about it, the better from the boys. I tried to get a little bit of information, but I think it was a bit of a soul warning, and St Mirren passed the ball about very nicely up at Gayfield, which isn't easy to do. So obviously that's good reading from St Mirren's point of view. But I didn't get too much details on the individuals. But like Div says, like I was there when Dylan Reid came through, and he was a 16-year-old boy. Good stature, good physique, can get about the pitch very well, lovely technical ability. I don't know what the reason was that he sort of went down and came back up, but that could be for St Mirren's benefit and coming back home. Hopefully he could maybe sign for the club and really hit the ground running, because he's definitely a player that can light up the league. I really liked him. I think as his career goes on, he could become more of a sitter. But he was a player that he's got so much legs and energy bombing forward. Maybe could fill in a sort of a young Mark O'Hara role, hitting the box and getting some goals from a central position. So hopefully he does sign for the club, and I think it's important having players like Stevie Mallon, if he does end up signing, players that know the club and know what it means to play for St Mirren. There's obviously a lot of changes, we've said, and there's going to be players that come from afar in, which is great. It's excitement, but at the same time, I think there needs to be just the small little details that someone like Stevie Mallon can give, along with those that are legends at the club now, and Alex Gogic and Marcus Fraser, that can help players settle in and then just give them the little nuggets that can help them thrive.
Yeah, Gogic still there. Div, I mean, as you mentioned there, the couple of games he missed and they lost towards the end of last season with suspension, you could see when he came back into the team, he just drives players on and seems to get everyone going.
Massive, just massive. I mean, Mark O'Hara was the captain with the band, but Gogic was the leader of that team. There's absolutely no doubt about it. He needed a lorry to take home the awards he took away from Player of the Year night this season. A warrior, an absolute legend. Just without him in that team, there's no doubt in my mind we'd have gone down. We'd have lost the games against Partick Thistle. I thought he was the best player in the park in both games. I think the Thistle fans admit that as well. Just a tremendous player, and he seems to have, now he's gone back into the middle of the defence. He's just got better and better. He's such an important player for us, and you have to think, if assuming he is staying now, that he does get the armband for next season. He's just a natural leader of that group.
He was one that you kind of half feared that he might end up at Aberdeen.
100%. I think, I'd be amazed if Robbo didn't ask the question, because he obviously knows what he brings to our team. It's just incredible, the influence he's had over St Mirren over the last three seasons, or whatever it is that he's been with us. So, yeah, the absolutely diamond guy as well. Just an all-round good guy, and a great person to have representing the club.
Yeah, Marcus Fraser as well. He's almost in a very similar boat. Scored a couple of very, very important goals last season as well. He's there. He was playing towards the end of the season, injured as well.
Yeah, just completely underrated guy. Never goes missing. Always puts his body on the line for the club. As you say, playing with an injury, scoring big goals for us. Again, a great guy to have at the club, and with the two of them there, we've got a chance. It's a good unit to build on at the back. I think it's also important that we've got a permanent goalkeeper for a change, because we always have lone goalkeepers, and Jacob Chapman's been really well rated as well. Going by what I've read, the Huddersfield fans weren't happy to see him go, which is always a good sign. So I think with the three of them there, it's a good base to build on. But as we've touched on, the top end of the park's going to be where it really counts for St Mirren this season.
Right, gentlemen, before we go, let's get some quick fire predictions from both of you. Numero uno. First question is to you, Div, first of all. Where are St Mirren going to finish in the table?
Almost impossible to answer that question right now, but I will always be optimistic. So I'm going to say 8th.
8th. It's not that optimistic, is it? Really, to be honest with you.
It's a big improvement on 11th.
Ryan?
Rather than saying a position, I'll go probably a similar to Dundee season just gone. It'll be not involved in the relegation battle, but not fighting for top 6.
Harem Scarem?
Oh, hopefully not.
Tiv?
As I say, it's impossible to tell at the moment. There's far too many players to come in. But I trust Gavin Miller is going to pick us up some gems that will help us get up that table. All
right. Who'll be your player of the year? If it's Jacob Chapman, we might be in a bit of trouble here.
Player of the year, again, it'll be Gogic again. Nobody will come in and do any more than Alec Gogic for that team.
I'll go for Declan John. I thought he was outstanding last season for large parts of it. Suffered through injury, but he's a player with so much quality, and with a wee change of style of play, I think he could be the man. If it's not him, hopefully it's a new signing at the top end of the park.
All right, the new kit. Love it, loathe it.
Yeah, I really like it, yeah. Throwback to the 87 Scottish Cup winning team. It's fresh, it's different. I believe the away kit's coming out tomorrow, and I have had a sneak peek at that, so that's a bit different as well. So, I like the kits. I think Macron have done us pretty solid over the last few seasons, so no complaints from me.
I'll back that with Div. I think the home strip's smart, and actually the releasing it with Tony Fitzpatrick was a nice touch as well.
A wee bit Dunfermline though.
Nah.
Right, okay. All right. You'll love this one. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is firmly clamped to the wall, how sugally is the manager's peg? The old sugalometer is out.
I don't think it's sugary at all. I'd place it as a solid 2 at the moment. He's only in the door 5 minutes. I think Craig would appreciate it wasn't everybody's choice of manager, but I think the fans have appreciated that the board have gone through their process and they've not made too many mistakes over the years, so we've got to trust them that they've got the right man in place, and with Gavin Miller behind them and some new stellar recruitment, I think the fans are excited and looking forward to a new season. So a 2.
Ringing endorsement, Ryan?
Yeah, no, I'm 1. He's just in the door. It's a full overhaul at the club. As even backroom staff have changed, players have changed, recruitment styles changed, recruitment team have changed. It's fully changed. Craig McLeish is in the door. He'll need time. Hopefully that's the big thing. I think there's a lot to be optimistic about. You want that time for him. That's the biggest part. As long as he's given time and backed, because there's obviously, I feel like there's a wee bit of the budget getting cut as well, which is a bit worrying. But as long as he's backed and given time, full faith.
Optimism is in the air. It's almost palpable. Right then, let's see if it survives this question. How do you feel about the new season in one word?
I did write apprehensive last night, but Flynny's made me feel optimistic, so I'm going to say optimistic now.
I'll say intriguing. I was the same as Div. I had apprehensive, but no, I'll go intriguing this season.
Okay, folks, optimism in abundance there, but I'm afraid it's time for us to wrap things up. Many thanks to Div MacDonald and Ryan Flynn, and thanks to you for listening. Remember, we're doing preview episodes for each and every Premiership team, so check them out on our feed if you get the chance. And to keep up to speed with everything you need to know about the national game and to be alerted when new episodes are out, subscribe to the Scottish Football Podcast on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone settings. That's it from me. Take care and we'll speak soon.
Hi, this is Ellis James. It's the middle of the night. You've just been following a World Cup match. Now you can't sleep because your body clock is all over the place. Well, we've got a playlist for that. Hear people like me and Kelly Cates calmly reading scorelines from historic World Cups over soothing music.
Austria 1, Sweden 0.
Just search Sleep Goals in BBC Sounds.